Turn 1, hell corner, third gear. It's critical to focus more on exit speed than on entry speed here, as you carry every RPM up the long uphill mountain straight. For reference points, use the 3 light poles on the right side of the track that are before the corner begins. I begin my braking about halfway between the second and the third pole. Here I was late and carried too much speed into the corner. There's a depression in the track right at turn-in, so the car likes to get loose at turn-in. Then it likes to get loose over the crown as you approach the apex. However, from apex to track out, the track climbs and is cambered in your favor, so the car will push from apex all the way out. The goal is to be at full power at apex. If you're not, you tried to carry too much speed in. Use the curb on exit, and it's fine to hit it if you got the apex correct. The mountain straight is bumpy, and the car tends to duck and weave from side to side. Give yourself a little extra room to the track edges or other cars, more than you might at other tracks. Turn 2, Griffins Bend, third gear. The banking here will let you carry a lot of speed into the corner. I begin my braking at the end of the dark wall on the right side of the track. Stay tight to the inside curbing for most of the corner and go quickly to full power. It's not really a concern in the SRF, but faster cars do have a tendency to get loose on exit due to the track sloping away to the track out curb. Be careful about shifting too soon to fourth gear up the hill. There's enough slope here to keep you from being able to recover lost RPMs. Turn 3, fourth gear. Turn in just before the guardrail and aim for a late apex. Turn 4, the cutting, third gear. This is one of the most important corners on the track since you're flat on the throttle all the rest of the way up to the mountain, and it's a steep climb so you can't get the RPMs back. After the apex of 3, aim for the tree that's just to the right of the tire power billboard. There's a depression in the track on the right hand side right at the turn-in, and it will cause the car to be loose on entry, and it is difficult to get the car to slow down there. So I'm going to brake before that depression. I can't brake hard because the right side is still loaded from turn 3. As soon as I finish my downshift, I turn in, floor the throttle, and commit to the corner. It seems like I'll hit the wall on the inside, but the car should get just enough power on understeer to avoid the wall. Use as little steering input as possible and every last inch of track going all the way out the hill. Turn 9, Frog Hollow. Just clip the corner of the first gate in the track, and that should put you on the right line here. Turn 10. It's really tough to find the right line here, as the car does tend to have some natural understeer in this fast corner, and the crest that you clear tends to cause the car to push off of the line anyways. So I try to lift a little as I clear that crest to counteract the natural push. It is okay to drive on the inside curb, but the outer curb is the one you want to stay away from, especially if the car is heavily loaded on the outside, as it will upset the car and almost always spin you into the inside wall. I stay in fourth gear on the run to Skyline. Turn 11, Skyline. I don't like doing a 5-4 downshift here, and there's not much in the way of lost time here by staying in fourth, so I do. I could go flat out here, but I have to compromise this corner in order to compromise turn 12, in order to compromise turn 13, in order to slow down in time for turn 14, the dipper. Aim for the telephone pole straight ahead. Turn in when the car is to the left of the pole and almost immediately apply brush braking. As you can see, there's not really enough time or loss of speed for a proper downshift, and that's why I avoid it. Off the brakes as I clear the sign, and I'm pointing the car to the right of the lone tree ahead of me. Turn 12. A slightly longer brush braking, then turn 11, and then back on power for a little bit before apex. Try to avoid the curb as it just unsettles the car and makes turn 13 more difficult. Turn 13, third gear. With the car in a somewhat neutral state, I'm on the brakes and down a gear. If I stay tight to the inside wall, I can take advantage of the camber there and carry more speed than I might otherwise expect. I'm starting my turn in just after the blue wall turns to orange. I am feathering the throttle during the corner to create just enough power on understeer to keep the car from getting loose on me. Turn 14, the dipper. When you have the car pointed in a straight line towards the apex of the dipper, get quickly on the brakes. Roll off them as the left front unloads over the drop, otherwise it'll lock and you'll wind up understeering into the exit wall. Turn in, roll on the throttle, header on the easy turn 15, and you're through. Easy peasy. Joking aside, the whole downhill sequence is one compromised corner after another. If you're having trouble with the dipper, then it means you need to go a little bit more slowly into Skyline. It's a little counterintuitive, but that's how compromised corners work. 100 extra RPM down the hill isn't going to do you any good if it means you're going to hit a wall. Turn 17, fourth gear. I find this to be yet another compromised corner. A little brush braking allows me to stay tight to the right and slow down properly for Forrest elbow. Turn 18, Forrest elbow, third gear. I've got the car pointed in a somewhat neutral manner at the small gap in the wall next to the marshal station, and that's when I begin braking. It's tough to go hard on the brakes here because the fronts are locking up with the pavement moving underneath you. First the right front unloads and then the left front unloads as you get close to the turn-in. You really had to focus more on exit speed than on entry speed here because of the long Conrod straight following it. There's some camber on the inside so you can get away with a little oversteer here. The chase, third gear. This is a tough corner as there isn't much in the way of usable reference points around here. The breaking point is just before the large splotch on the pavement, which is after the beginning of the copse of trees on the right. I'm trying to keep the car rotating in the corner until it's cleared the hotel, and then I'm back to power as early as I can. Murray's corner, third gear. I tried to brake at the lone tree on the right. I missed it here, carried too much speed, got loose, and lost at least a quarter of a second. This corner is just like Hell Corner. There's a depression right at turn-in that causes the car to oversteer, and there's a crown that you have to cross that will also help cause oversteer. You don't want to apex until right at the end of the flat curb.